Hello there, you are watching Newspaper Review on Niger Live TV. My name is Barbie Mkparu and I'm joined by,
Glad Yakie.
as you know, Newspaper Review is your daily press review as we will be checking out headlines making the papers. Let's quickly begin with the Nation newspaper. We're going to quickly pick some headlines available in the Nation newspaper. Obi Kwankwaso join NDC. That's a new one from the one of the top persons who were in the ADC just recently. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State and a one-time presidential aspirant for presidency here in Nigeria. So they have now joined the National Democratic Congress (NDC), whose founder is the former governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Henry Seriake Dixon. Let's hear what Glad has to say in regards to this very interesting headline.
Well, that's the biggest story making the headlines today in Nigerian newspapers because it was actually brewing for a long time. Because we talked about the fact that for the ADC, it was going to find it difficult to, should I say, accommodate all four personalities. That's Kwankwaso, Obi, Atiku, and then we have Rotimi Amechi as well in the party. Because the ADC had been struggling for a long time with some of the leadership struggles between David Mark and Bala Gombe. So they hadn't really sorted their acts. They hadn't put their house in order. So it was expected that the likes of Obi and Kwankwaso were going to maybe move to another party. And for the ADC, for the NDC, I beg your pardon, it's actually a big win for them. For Henry Seriake Dixon, when he brought up that party, a lot of people were a little bit skeptical about his reasons for doing so. Yeah. And a lot of analysts were actually thinking the party is only going to have grounds in Bayelsa State and no national footing. But this is actually huge for his party, and hopefully he's going to be able to do away with some of the political drama that have been plaguing other parties like the PDP, ADC, and or even in the APC. Because I think one of the strategies being used in politics today is sabotage, the use of fifth columnists. So they bring someone to the party to just hold the party on under ransom to try and destabilize the party. But the likes of Peter will be coming in. They are not going to be coming in alone. They are going to be coming in with a lot of supporters as well. Yeah. So we still expect a lot of senators and ministers. A lot of individuals will definitely be moving to the party. So the party needs to at least put its act in order to moderate who comes in and who goes out. So it's a big. So we don't
have to have so many bad eggs. I mean, because NDC is a new baby. I mean, I for one must commend the former governor of Bayelsa State, current senator representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District, His Excellency Senator Henry Seriake Dixon, because this looks like a force, as the NDC would say. They are service to the people, you know. So let's see how well the political party would be able to feature in the upcoming 2027 general elections. Do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that story. Let's move on to the Vanguard paper. INEC deadline. Obi Kwankwaso trigger mass defections. I mean, there was a report on X where there's a report of over 8 million Nigerians who have just registered into the NDC from yesterday's news. So this is a whole lot. There's a mass defection, and for the ADC, let's believe that the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar still has his people in the ADC, because it's a whole lot going on in Nigeria politics, all in preparations for the 2027 elections. Keep yourself informed. NGE Serap to Tinubu: governors protect journalists and insecurity and impunity. That's quite a very important statement or reminder from the NGE Serap to President Tinubu as well as the governors. It is important that journalists be protected. There have been sad stories going on worldwide, you know, where the reporters across borders, RSF, have mentioned that the journalists need to be protected at all costs. There was a report from an Al Jazeera cameraman and reporter being killed while carrying out their duty. So it is important that journalists, as well as all citizens be protected. Also, the reasons to end insecurity. That insecurity should also be curbed. It should be curbed in the country, even though there's been stories coming up on part of Mr. President saying that this insecurity is a ploy to frustrate his administration and to scare him out of government. That was a defensive statement from Mr. President in regards to insecurity.
Well, of course, a lot is going on with regards to insecurity in Nigeria. But for those that are actually going to be making it known, this is actually the journalists. And for Nigeria, I think Nigeria is actually one of the worst place you can be a journalist in, because we look at the, should I say, the average reaction of a Nigerian when there's a camera right in front of them is always, should I say, Nigerians really don't like being in front of a camera, especially when they are carrying out something nefarious, when they are engaging in nefarious activities. So being a journalist in Nigeria comes with a lot of risks. So I think it's a good one that this SELAP is actually urging the government to actually and to step up in terms of curbing insecurity, at least to secure the journalists as they're going about their duties.
Thank you very much for that. Very smart analysis. Move on to the Punch newspaper. Let's check the Punch newspaper. Xenophobia. 130 Nigerians sign up for South Africa evacuation. That's a report coming from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that over 130 Nigerians have now signed up for South Africa evacuation. So in regards to the sad incident, what is going on in South Africa, I mean the xenophobia attacks. Nigerian businesses owned by Nigerians have now been affected. Nigerians are now being assaulted, abused, and a whole lot going on. Well,
the numbers it's still quite high, 130. You want to say maybe nationally it's still low, but the Nigerians are actually really starting to feel the pressure. Not just Nigerians. It's not just Nigerians that have been targeted, of course,
as well as the Ghanaians.
But for South Africa, I don't know if it's the right strategy for them to push the blame or the failures of their government on the people, on foreign nationals. It's really not right, but they've been sending a clear message for a long time. The first xenophobic attacks was actually a big enough message that something like this will still come up. And for Nigerians that actually are in South Africa, it's really a hard time to be there, but I always say safety first, irrespective of whatever your ambitions are. You just have to ensure that you're alive in order to fulfill those ambitions. But for the South Africans, it's terrible what is really going on there.
Thank you for that analysis. All right, we see another story. Still in regards to the 2027 general elections, Obi Kwankwaso join NDC and demand litigation-free politics. Okay, quite. We had initially talked on that story. Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. In the Guardian, we see opposition crumbles as Atiku takes Nigeria's crisis to global stage. That's a move from the former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, as he has now reported the insecurity, the rise in insecurity and insurgency in Nigeria. It's now taking it to the global stage. Do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that story. NAF strikes terrorists destroy Abasu Aikie's hideout in Katsina. Okay, quite a story there.
With regards to the military operations against terrorists, this time around in Katsina, there's a terrorist, Abasu Aikie, who's been terrorizing people in Katsina for a long time. So this time around, the Nigerian Air Force, they carried out a military operation where some airstrikes in which they attacked some of the terrorists in their hideout. So important operation from the military, and hopefully more terrorists are going to be plunged out from their hideouts. All
right, thank you for that very intelligent analysis. Extrajudicial killing. IGP assures arrest, prosecution of suspects. This is in regards to the extrajudicial killing and public execution of a 28-year-old musician in Delta State. Do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that story. Let's move on to the Nigeria Tribune. Makinde-backed PDP moves to name caretaker committee today. Okay, there's a whole lot going on from Sheyi Makinde. You have a move to name the caretaker committee of the People's Democratic Party today. Keep yourself informed with details of that story. Strike. We stand with SANU and NASU. That's a statement from ASU. Okay. There's a rhyme going on there. SANU, NASU, and ASU. So do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that story. Let's move on to this day newspaper. Obi Kwankwaso formally declare for NDC, set stage for 2027 presidential battle. Yes, they honestly have set the stage for the 2027 presidential battle. You know, initially with the way the NDC was growing in, let me not just say Bayelsa, but in the southern part of Nigeria and kind of a bit of in the north, people were already wondering who NDC's presidential candidate would be. Where the founder, Henry Sereke Dixon, was like, oh, even though I have the capacity to run for president, it's not part of what I want to do. That was a statement from the former president of governor of Bayelsa State, Henry Sereke Dixon. So now we can see that it's now crystal clear that the NDC has a presidential candidate.
It was a really tactical move by the former governor Henry Sereke Dixon, because
nobody saw it coming.
No one really saw it coming. But with regards to the saga within the ADC, I expected something to really happen, because like I mentioned earlier, it was going to be very tough for the party to ensure that these four individuals that I already mentioned were going to come up in one under one wing. But for the NDC now, I think is a big one for them, because they have a very big leverage at this point, because this Obi and Kwankwa, so they are amongst the most popular should I say aspirants in Nigeria at this point, because they are the only two individuals that can really put Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his toes with regards to voting. They are going to gather a lot of votes, because they are, for Obi, like I always mention, he has support from the south, and Kwankwaso of course is very popular in the north. So it's actually very good, the fact that the two of them came together. It seems like there have this cooperation between them. Maybe we're going to see an Obi Kwankwaso should I say alliance? I'm not really sure what order. I'm not sure who would come out as the president and who would be the vice.
It's been flying already that it is an OK ticket. Now they're calling it OK ticket.
Obi Kwankwaso.
Yes, where they are also now positioning that. I mean, this is from the masses, from their supporters and supporters of NDC, and so that Peter Obi would be running for presidency, and Kwankwaso as his running mate to be vice president.
It will be hard to tell who would be the president and who would be the vice.
This is what the supporters are already clamoring.
That's what the supporters from the south. I think you're hearing this from the southern supporters. If you were to go to the north, I think it would be a different narrative.
Okay.
But regardless of whatever order it comes in, they just have to come together. I think they have a better chance of winning the presidency, at least when you talk about voting. I'm not sure with Nigerian election there's a lot that really happens.
Very true.
I'm not really sure if but when you talk about voting, I think this is the best combination in order for them to really contest in the next election. But with ADC, of course, it's a big loss, because they've lost arguably the two most influential individuals from the group, so they haven't really sorted their acts, and that's actually their loss.
So do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of this and other stories. Let's quickly move to the Leadership newspaper. On the Leadership newspaper, article to visit US over Nigeria's insecurity and others. This is a statement from his aide.
I'm really not sure why he's the one to go
out.
So insecurity. I'm really not sure why, but it will be interesting reading the details to find out.
The elections are around the corner, so he is doing all he can to let Nigerians know that if I be president, I would be able to tackle insecurity.
Yeah, and for the US, they'll definitely be looking forward to the next president to cooperate with the person in the next when he actually comes into office. So maybe. For Atiku is actually trying to start, should I say, getting attuned to that position even before it's really manifests. But it's going to be interesting finding out more details when we get through it.
Do well to read through details of that. JAMB to set 2026 admission cutoff marks from May 11. So let's keep our eyes in the papers to see the new cutoff mark Yes. So bandits must surrender. Northwest governors won't negotiate with them. That's a statement from Governor Aliyu. Okay. That bandits must surrender as the Northwest governors won't negotiate with them. Well, there's always statements. I mean, politicians always have things to say. Well, we hope that action follows the statement. But we should commend Governor Aliyu for this powerful statement. We look forward to actions. All right, let's move on to the Daily Times newspaper. Okay. Obi Kwankwaso still trending. 2027 general elections. Ambition tears opposition apart as Obi Kwankwaso join NDC. An eye possible OK ticket. I was just telling Glad. OK tickets.
Of course. Okay.
So yes, that's for on the part of Obi Kwankwaso joining the NDC. Moving on to the Blueprint newspaper. Opposition. ADC in disarray. Obi Kwankwaso join NDC. We have another story here. Amid Strait of Hormuz bottlenecks, OPEC hikes oil production quotas. That's quite a story. Do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that story. On the Daily Sun, we have 2 ex-presidents behind Obi Kwankwaso's exit from ADC. 2 ex-presidents. Quite an interesting headline. We'll leave that to you to read through its details. All right, we have another story here. South Africans continue protests against foreigners today. It's a whole lot. I mean, South Africa and coming up with this. Really, I personally am now seeing this as going beyond just the businesses.
No, it's not. It's not just businesses. Because if you look at businesses, they're actually even adding more value.
Exactly.
But I think they have their reasons for doing it, but overall, like I mentioned earlier, the average South African, the average South African is actually, I hate saying it, but the average South African is actually lazy, and they tend to like blame others. That's what lazy people do.
Failure,
blame others for their for your failures.
There were still some statements coming up from the South Africans that were interviewed. They said, "Oh, it's because of extortion that the Nigerians, the foreigners doing business, are beginning to extort their people."
Well, there's a lot still. There's a lot still going on there. With regards to foreigners, there's still the allegations that a lot of foreigners actually carry out crimes. So criminal activities are usually synonymous with foreigners. Like Nigerians have been tagged drug dealers in South Africa.
Oh, that's sad.
A lot of, should I say, foreigners carrying out nefarious activities in the country, of course, but they have to at least target those ones and then you see, when you look at those people that are actually doing legitimate businesses and doing the right things, you are supposed to let them be. But the targets they just target, as long as you're a foreign national, which shouldn't be. So
but
it's really unfortunate what's going on there.
Very true. Kudos to the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and its minister, Bianca Ojukwu, as we hear that Nigerians are being they've created a platform for Nigerians to be brought back to the country. So do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that. Hope fades for petrol price crash as Hormuz deadlock persists. I mean, it's almost like since the year started, we've been talking about the Strait of Hormuz.
Of course, that's the main story making the waves in the global scene, because the US and Iran, since they started that conflict, has had a significant effects on global fuel prices. And of course, fuel is a key, should I say, is very fundamental in industries, and because you require fuel for every nation requires fuel in order to really function. So it's definitely been not just fuel. The Strait of Hormuz, a lot really passes through. Not just fuel. So
as well.
The fact that they've been carrying out this blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is really
affecting
cutting
businesses,
up the veins of the world, essentially. So that's what has really been trending, and of course, it doesn't really seem like the situation is going to be easing up anytime soon, because both sides, the US and Iran, they are still really trying to get
waiting for who surrender. If you lock this, I would do that. Or if you do this, I would do that. So it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of a past tussle and who is to surrender before who. So do well to read through details of that. Let's move on to the Daily Trust paper. 2027 calculations shift as Obi Kwankwaso join NDC. All right, let's move on to the New Telegraph paper. On the New Telegraph, we have xenophobic tension. 130 Nigerians apply to leave SA. And then we have a story here also. 2027 Obi Kwankwaso formally joined NDC. This story is a hit.
It's a banger.
It's for real. Banger. It's everywhere. So do well to read through details of that. Let's go over to the business day. After the business day, to the sports. So the business day newspaper, we have solar power ignites economic boom in Nigerian village that oil forgot. All right, do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of that. Nigerians 3 trillion naira deficits fix may lie in listing state assets. I mean, it's a whole lot going on in the business news. Do well to keep yourself informed as you read through details of these and other stories. At this juncture, I'd leave you in the hands of Glad Yakie to anchor the sports and tell you about things going on in the world of sports.
Well, the story is making the headline in the sports newspaper today from the Point Sports Extra. We have Inform Iheanacho boost Celtic's title chase. So that's an interesting story for Celtic and the Nigerian Super Eagles player Iheanacho, as Celtic are still going for the Scottish League title. They haven't given up. For Eddie Hearn, he labels Joshua's boxing return an ultimate comeback. That's a big statement from Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter. So of course Joshua looking to come back to the ring very soon, of course, following the crash he had in which he lost two of his friends and partners. And for Olise, he refused Eagles' invitation, and Raw is actually stating why he actually did that. So that story, you can find that one on page 7 on the Point Sports Extra. While Shell scouts NPFL players ahead of Unity Cup clash. For Babajide and Oladipo, they win women's Serie A title. So that's another story you can find on page 6 on the Point Sports Extra. Other stories that make the headline there: Osimhen confidence of Gala Super League triumph for Galatasaray. They did lose over the weekend, but Osimhen still very confident that they will secure the title. While for Devils, that's the Red Devils, Manchester United, they secure UCL football for next season after they defeated the arch rival Liverpool over the weekend. So they've secured qualification to the UEFA Champions League next season. For Real Madrid, they are still in search for a Arbeloa's successor. So these are some of the headlines. For Milan, they offer 43.2 million to Leao to Arsenal. So they are offering Leao to Arsenal. I'm not really sure if he's going to really go there at this point. But Arsenal, of course, are going to be a big leap for him in respect to AC Milan. And for Bruno Fernandes, he said, I could have gone 3 years ago. So that's an interesting statement from Bruno Fernandes. While Inter win 21st Serie A title. So big win for Inter Milan as they were able to secure the Serie A title over the weekend. You can find out that story on page 3 on the Point Sports Extra. So this is where we have to draw the curtain from the Sponge, the Sports Punch Extra, I guess.
Thank you very much, Glad, for that very interesting rundown. That concludes newspaper review today. My name is Barbie Mkparu and I've been joined by
Glad Yakie.
Many thanks for watching. Do well to stay glued to Niger Live TV as we will be bringing you more updates during Globe in View.